Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we got an unboxing video, some Lepanthes from Tarzan, and I'll show you some of the cool things that I have in bloom. But before we get started with the video, I just want to remind everyone to join the community Discord server down in the link below. It's absolutely free and a great place for you to connect with other growers that share similar interests. So there's already 60 people in there that all have a common love for pleurothalids, and it's a really great little community we got going. So yeah. Alright, let's get this going. This was part of the 4th of July sale that they had going, so if you celebrate that, happy 4th of July. If not, enjoy these orchids that I got because of the 4th of July. Just gonna hack this box open. Should have got probably some proper scissors. Tarzan tends to pack their things very well, and I really appreciate that. So, pardon me while I struggle with this box. Hopefully that's also not too loud for you. So I ordered 4 Lepanthes, and these are 4 species that I don't have yet. So it'll be awesome. Nice little cold pack here. Thank you for that. It's been pretty warm. Here we go. Let's see how it looks. It's 1 box and 2. Okay, so all 3. There's 3 in here and 1 in there. Let's start with the little one. So this is Lepanthes, Affinity, or Afdicoensis. I think that means like affiliated or something. This is likely a new species or something that's not that isn't identified yet. Something that's described but not identified in this collection. But anyways. See, it's in there. It looks really good. It's got a couple flowers on it too, so I can show you those. I love these Tupperware containers for shipping. They're just it's such a good way to ship these tiny plants. You know, drilling a little hole and putting the hook through. This cotton stuff is nice. Here we go. Let's see. Use this as a backdrop so it's not as reflective. Pull this guy up. Boop. That is an awesome little flower. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Look at that. Very cool markings. And the petals are very interestingly shaped. See if I can show you from the side. It's a little bright. Let me adjust this lighting a little bit. There we go. But yeah, this is in awesome condition. This looks like, you know, not even a little bit distressed from shipping. So this is great. Set this right here. What else did I get? Oh, here, Lepanthes, and Jimbery. Oop, almost dropped it. This one is Calocirca, and I think this last one is Lepanthes Volador, but we'll have to open this to find out. So, again, let's peel away this tape. Wow. Some strong Scotch tape going on here. Ooh. Nice. And again, this is nice and hooked down here, so I'll pull this up. One thing I will be doing is swapping the moss on these guys. I always like to give them a fresh start. This looks really great. Let's show this. Look at that. A lot of little inflorescences. Nice healthy green plant. It's moist, but not It's a little crispy, but it's not super dry. This is good. But apparently that's what the flour is supposed to look like. So, good stuff. Next one. Also, I realized I just lost one of the tags. How did I do that? For this first one. I'll find that later. Calocirca is a cool species that I've been wanting for a while, but I don't know why, I just have never picked it up. So these can be kind of tight, just gotta be careful not to pierce your hand when you're bending it. Here we go. So this is a little guy, but it's in very good condition, so I'm not worried about recovery. See, there's a new leaf growing out right there. Let's go to this last guy here. This one I'm excited for. This is one of the ones with reticulated leaves, so it's got really cool markings on the leaves. Let me see if I can. Again, it might be good to get like a tool to pull this, but I'm just gonna. Here's a shears. There, used it as leverage. Here we go. This is an awesome plant. Look at these leaves. They look like mini calodictyon leaves. I wouldn't be surprised if they were pretty closely related. But anyways, this looks awesome. So now I'm gonna find that tag and then let's swap out the moss. One of these guys. Okay, that took like 2 seconds. The tag was under the box. What I'm gonna do first, like I do with most things that I get in right away, is I'm gonna gently take off this moss and replace it with my own media. Again, I've been using live moss recently. That's just what I've been preferring. So here we go. Actually, these bungee cord kind of things, you don't have to cut them, so you can just slip them right off. Very convenient in that way. There we go. And this should come right off. I'm just gonna collect all my waste moss in this little bucket here. Using my hand, probably should use some tweezers. This guy is attached to the mount though. I'm gonna get some tweezers. I just unattached this guy from the mount. Be right back. Okay, back with my trusty tweezers. I'm gonna sit back down real carefully. One thing I'm gonna do is quickly give this a little spritz. Just because it's not saturated with water, it can sometimes be a little tough to remove. So just wet this a little bit. And now I'm gonna slowly peel away this moss. So I can show this. It's good to be gentle at this point because you may not be, like if you haven't done this a lot, you might be confused what is a root and what is just like the central sort of like strand of sphagnum. But here we go. You can sometimes tell the sphagnum apart because it's like the central strand is going to be black sometimes. Most of the time, actually. So, see if I can show an example. So like this one here, you see the middle is like really dark. So I know for sure it's sphagnum and not roots. Anyways, I'm just plucking this off because I like the aesthetic of live moss. I also like to give new plants a fresh start. Usually I'll remount things, but when the mount isn't super degraded and the plant is well attached to the mount, I think it's better to leave the plant on the mount. than to stress it out by ripping it off, if possible. If you absolutely need to, let's say you want to move it to a pot, then just be really careful when you're removing it from the mount, using like very gentle motions, and also make sure it's wet. If you go in dry, you'll just like rip everything up. Okay, so there's like these little bits right here that are really close to the plant. Those are the things that are gonna decay and like mess things up in a few months. So I want to make sure I get as much of that as I can. Sometimes it's not possible because it's so attached, but I think I bent this leaf. That's unfortunate, but well, it happens, right? Cool. So I'm gonna give this a little good spritz down with some water. I just totally missed that. And now I will once again go through my mounting procedure. I've done this so many times, but it's always nice to show it on camera if you haven't seen it before. So I like to use cotton thread, and I like to use black or brown thread because it's a little more inconspicuous. It's not as obvious to, when you're looking at it. Fishing line is the clear stuff, maybe is like a little hard to see, but I feel like it's reflective, so it's also, I don't really like that either. Okay, anyways, so I tie a single knot. See this? So I make a loop, and then I tie a single knot around this thread here where it connects. And so I'll do that like this. Go very slow. So I'm making a hoop, and then see this little end here, I'll loop that in to there. Oh my god. See this? And then the knot is tied, and this gives you a single loop that you can tighten. So you see I can pull to tighten that, and I put this on the back here, like so. Tighten it to the wire. So this mount is really big. This name is very long. So unfortunately I'm going to ditch this photo, and I'm going to ditch the bottom. The little pointy part. So I'm left with this, and I'll get some moss. So I just have a collection of like little mosses growing. This is from a moss mix from Glassbox Tropicals, and it's just nice to have on hand because I can like harvest a little bit from everywhere. It's a lot of sphagnum, but there are like others in here, and I do add like moss when I see it growing on other stuff. So this is like 90% sphagnum. Anyways, yeah, I like to just like harvest some of this. Here, there's some different ones in this plate here. Pardon this horrible dendrobium. But see here, there's like some non-sphagnum mosses, so maybe I'll take a little bit of that. Just like mix it up in here. And one thing I want to point out, and I think I point out a lot, is don't need too much moss. At least in my conditions, because I have really good airflow, this plant can like dry out every day, and I just water every day. If you're in a dry place, you could put more moss, but you risk rotting the plant, I feel like. Versus if you put less, it can dry out faster. So anyways, just a gentle little clump there to kind of block everything in. Put the tag in the back, and then I do 4 lines, I guess, across, so you can see here. There's one from the top right corner to the bottom left. Pull it around to the bottom right corner, and then I go to the top left. And then I do one on top, like this, and one on the bottom, like this. And in a month, you will not see this black thread because it's covered by the moss. Okay, to tie this up, take this thread, pull it around here, this hook, pull it taut, and then you want to make a loop with your hand like this, and you slide this loop over the hook, and then you just do that 3 times. 2 and 3. Okay, then you just cut that off and your plant is good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of the rest of these, and then I will do a little tour of some of the things that are in bloom, because I got some really cool stuff right now. Alright, so here I am done. I got my 3 little ones here. You can see there's some nice green moss, and the black thread is like kind of hard to see, which is good, in my opinion. Here's another one. And here's a better close-up of that flower. I think this was Affinis dicoensis, something like that. But yeah, I looked it up. The AFF means like it's thought to be a new species and like affiliated or with affinity to whatever existing species. So cool, I learned something new. And here's my reticulated leaf one, Lepanthes volador. Nice little moss pad there, and I have to cut a lot of these old leaf petioles away to clean this up a little bit, but let's get on with the flowers. We'll move over to this side. Hope I didn't make anyone dizzy just now. Here we go. This, I think this was in bloom in my last video too, but this is Lepanthes tenuiloba. Just an awesome bright crimson red little thing with like yellow, like this bright yellow coloring as well. It's so cool. And the plant is tiny. You see here, the flower is held pretty far away from the plant, so it presents really nicely. I got 3 of them here, and they all have like really long inflorescences, so can't wait till they all bloom out together and make this like really nice show of red and yellow blooms. Right underneath it, here we have Lepanthes. Holy crap, blanking. It's been a long day. Rebis. You can see these like kind of balloon-shaped flowers. Very hard to photograph and very hard to film because they face the plant, but they have these green. Well, mine has this green, almost like double horn petals. I think it's quite variable. So, got one in bud here. Maybe it'll be different, as well as this one. Maybe it'll be different. But yeah, really cool little species. Up here, my little wall of Teleponophoras, looking good. Nice. I mean, it's such a classic, warm-growing one that like most Lepanthes collectors have, just because it thrives in like wide range of conditions. But these are closed because I pollinated them. So here's another one. Why is it not focusing? There we go. This one's really small compared to some of the other ones. See, this one's a little bigger. This one has 2 capsules on the left. Such a nice orange color. And, I mean, flower to leaf ratio on this one is crazy. And next to this, I have Lepanthes subote. This is a recent acquisition, also from Tarzan. They had a Lepanthes event, and, I mean, my plant is going absolutely crazy, which I'm loving. It's just such an awesome, awesome flower. Yeah, zoom in here. Like, look at that pink color. It's so cool. But yeah, this has just been blooming for me nonstop. So I hope it stays like that throughout the duration of owning it. This here is potentially a seed capsule, Same with this one here. So hopefully I can get some seeds from this. Make some little baby supates. Okay, we'll move down here. This just opened for me this morning. This is Lepanthes aculeata. It's another one of those really nice yellow and red ones. This one's on the underside of the leaf, but this leaf is upside down because I mounted it that way when I received the plant. I have another one here from one of my older specimens. See if I can flip this around. Oh, let me get the plant. So this one has like a little more of like bluish undertones. And it's a little bit bigger, probably because the plant is more mature. But it's such an awesome little flower. Spectacular colors and spectacular patterns. Moving over, we have the ever-flowering Lepanthes leporina. You see here, this is 2-on-1 inflorescence. And I have another capsule here as well. But just such a large flower for such a tiny plant. Very amazing. One of my favorite Lepanthes species. Here I have a little guy. This is Lepanthes petala. See if I can focus on him. It's got these like really long petals. Really cool. It's not doing too well. It's flowering for me, but it's not growing. So a little worried. Hopefully it hangs on there and puts out some new growths soon. I got to pause this real quick. My back was about to kill me for leaning over. Anyways, here I have my little row of Lepanthes orchids. This nice little guy here. This leaf is awesome as well. This bright purple color. Here's another one. This one's like really big. It has very intense substance. I think maybe it's like some polyploid or something, but it's like very thick leaves, and the flower is like double the size of all the other ones. Here's another one. It's nice to see the variation as well, because these are all siblings from the same flask. Here's another one. And so you can see that they're all clearly orchid, but they're all like a little bit different. Here's another one. So I just really like seeing variation there. Next to my orchid, I have Terpsichore. I actually recently got a cultural award from the American Orchid Society for this guy. You see here, there's a nice greenish yellow flower with like bright purple markings on the petals and the lip. Really cool. And this is a pretty big plant. You see it's like, I think there's like 30 or 40 growths. And like, I think there's 8 keikis as well. But yeah, very cool little flower. Moving over here. This is an interesting one. So this is Lepanthes tracheae. You can see here, this one here has yellow, they're called lateral sepals, so the two bottom sepals here and here, they're yellow. Whereas this other one that just opened for me this morning, or it's not fully open yet, but I don't know if you can tell, this one is completely red. So very interesting variation in color. I'm going to see what happens when we cross-pollinate these two together. Here's some more flowers. It's so cool. I love these ones that are really red because the red really stands out from the foliage. I think it's so pretty. Moving on, another red one here. This one is Lepanthes minnetii. And you can see I have two. There's one here as well. But I just want to show this guy off first. Look at that. So many flowers, so many inflorescences coming up. And this one has a really awesome shape of the petals. Let me see if I can zoom into that. see how close we can get this. It's like a 3-pronged petal. Look like little tentacles. This is again one of my favorites. It's really slow growing for me, but I mean, any serious collector of this genus, you gotta have this species. It's pretty newly described too. Yeah, so cool. And you can see here what I was saying about this black thread. The moment it gets into the moss, it disappears because the moss grows over it. So that's why I like the thread. This one's a little bit different. I mean, it's the same species, but the flower's more crimson and more yellow. Just a little bit better color. But yeah, this little guy is slowly getting back there. Okay, down here we have something kind of similar in the growth form, where it's like kind of small and has this pendant inflorescence. This is Lepanthes doucetii. This one's kind of a bright pink, or not pink, sorry, like a magenta color, and the petals kind of look like butterfly wings, which is what I like about this species. Very nice. I recently remounted this onto cork with some fresh moss. It was on dried moss before, and there's something weird going on with that moss, so I had to move it over. Alright, we're gonna move back up, so I'm gonna stop this for now. Okay, this one's not a flower, but this is a highly anticipated bud for me. Let's see if I can focus it. This is Lepanthes peruviana. I know there have been a lot of people that have recently bloomed this, and it looked absolutely awesome. Humongous flower. And you can see here, even, compared to the size of my fingertip, this is a pretty big, come on, focus. This is a pretty big bud. So this flower is going to be probably at least 5 centimeters top to bottom. Which is very exciting. Hopefully it doesn't blast. The first one, the first bud I had blasted like a week ago, so fingers crossed for this one. This is Lepanthes myophora. It's got these awesome little orange flowers. Again, my plant is huge. I'm really happy with it, and I think it needs a new mount soon. You see here, it's like pretty overgrown, I would say. Maybe I think I could keep it on here maybe like another year, but then I'll have to figure out what I'm supposed to do with it. I have dropped this so many times, and this plant is still fine. It's very, very robust in that regard. Let's move down here. Here's a funky one. Lepanthes pelvis. You see, it's kind of like a one of those concave flowers. The color is like not that appealing to me. Kind of looks like meat or something. Some kind of off red. But the shape is what I like about it. It's really cool, very unique. I guess kind of like a clamshell almost. Here's another really popular one, Lepanthes uxoria. I'm not sure what controls whether the blooms are on the top or the bottom of the leaf. This is supposed to be on the bottom of the leaf, and most of them are, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. Which is, I guess, good for me, because then I get to see them without moving the plant. But Lepanthes uxoria, pretty little thing. And these flowers are like quite big. Let me see if I can put my finger here again. It's not huge, but it's not tiny. Here's my nail. The leaf is like the size of my nail, or a little bit bigger than my nail, and the flower is like quite big. I say big, but really it's like medium, I guess. All right, moving over. This is Lepanthes gargoyle. These again, this flower is kind of like a weird kind of off red color, not my favorite. But I do like the leaves on this guy. Kind of a nice purple tinge to them. And it's huge. That's the other downside for me, I guess. Takes up a lot of space. Okay. Grows like a weed. Let's keep going. Oh, here's my little collection of calodictyons. So this one is from Orchid Valley. So I guess you'd say it's like a Colombian raised genotype. This one's from Tarzan, so unknown origin. See, I got a little capsule there. But look at these leaves. This is the most established one I have. Look at these leaves. Grow them for the leaves, right? And then here I have 3 from Mundiflora. And you can see the leaves are all just... Oh my goodness, sorry, I'm having like a issue with zooming. The leaves are all slightly different. So this one, you can see there's like nice straight reticulations, I guess. And then here, this one's kind of like curvy. The reticulations aren't straight, they come down sometimes branch like here. And then this one is almost like a grid. Like they line up so well on the markings on the leaves. So, interested to see what they bloom out as in terms of flowers. Hopefully they are actually calodictyons. Here's my tentaculata. I haven't been maintaining this as well as I should be, so I should maybe cut these dead leaves off. But anyways, this is also a weed. You can see I have like so many growths on this thing. Leaves aren't quite as pronounced in the markings as calodictyon, but nevertheless still really nice reticulated leaves on these plants. Let's keep going. Oh, here's a little flower. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show this. Maybe this one? This is Lepanthes tortilis. And it's got really cool little yellow flowers with pink petals. Not a very... Come on. There we go. Wow. Epic fail. Not a very common shade of yellow, I feel like. It's a little bit more of a pale, of a yellow rather than like a pale yellow, which I think a lot of Lepanthes are. And these leaves are epic. Look at these markings. Just the green veining through there is quite awesome. And I think that's because it's under like pretty decent light. Next up is Lepanthes hexapus. This little guy here. Again, these have reticulated leaves as well, but not as pretty, I would say, as some of the other species I just talked about. However, this thing is also always in bloom, and this has like very intricate flowers, so it's a nice one to look at. This one is one of my favorite flowers from the reticulated leaves. This is Lepanthes saltatrix, and the flower is huge. I mean, here, I guess I'll use my hand again. Look at this. Huge for Lepanthes, I guess. I mean, bigger than a lot of the things that I regularly bloom out. So it's nice, and the kind of pastel shades of this flower I really like as well. I have another one here, so hopefully it'll be like slightly different. If we can gauge what the variation of this species is like. Here's a cool one as well, Lepanthes rutrum. A very, very dark red petals. This one I'm a little worried about how connected to the mount this one is, but actually, now that I'm looking at it close up, looks like there's a root there. Look at that. Okay, guess I don't have to be worried. But it is making a keiki. You can see there the root on the leaf, so that'll be another plant I can separate out in a bit. Down here, got Lepanthes Neissenii. Again, one of the bigger flowered ones, but the leaves are a little bigger in this, so the flower to leaf size ratio is not as great as some of the earlier ones. But I mean, this flower is gorgeous. This particular one is like veined red. The one right beside it, or two beside it, this one's like a solid orange. A solid dark orange. I wonder if this is a bud or something. Oh. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that wasn't a flower. Let's see. Here I have a Louisiana. This is a Puerto Rican endemic species. It looks a lot like Uxoria, but it's a little bit smaller. And the leaves are also bigger. But this thing is like pretty prolific. Blooms all the time. I have some issues with some probably fungus going on here, but or it could be my kelp spray that's not in solution. But anyways, not the prettiest. Okay. One more on this shelf, and then move to the last shelf. This is Lepanthes imitator. This is a humongous one. Here's my whole hand. But the flowers are. Is there one open? Oh, that's closed. Let's see. This one's open. The flowers are like giant triangles. There's the back of one. Here we go. Look at that. Pretty nice. I've been slowly getting into these larger leaf Lepanthes. A lot of the flowers look really similar to this. So, yeah. But it's just they take up so much space. But my goal is to try and collect like most of the genus, so gotta take that sacrifice. Alright, last little shelf. Okay, we'll start with this one here. This one is unknown to me what it is. I purchased it as Lepanthes planadensis. But if you look up what Lepanthes planadensis looks like, it looks nothing like this. So if you have any ideas what this is, you know, I'd be grateful for any opinions or leads on what it could be. The leaves look like this. Kind of like long. And thin. Move this back. I have my three little guys from earlier here. Lepanthes affinity with Dicoensis. This one's affinity Gymboree and Calcirca. Move down. Actually, I don't think I have anything super in bloom here. Oh, here's a tiny one. This one is Lepanthes narcissus. Let me see if I can capture this. The flowers on this are really small, so it's kind of hard to focus on them. Check that out. Very cute though. They're kind of ice cream cone shaped. But yeah, I like the markings on the petals there. You see the bright red outline there. Pretty cool. And this guy's just closing up, but this is Lepanthes gigantea. Bought it as Hertzii, but it was a wrong ID. Anyways, I guess that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. It's been a long week.